Alex. Yeah, so I'm going to actually be speaking in this similar vein on one of the upper tiers there about really driving cost-effective traffic at scale. So I know a little bit about this. At Inkbox, we're actually Canada's highest traffic Shopify store. We drove around 1 million visitors to our site last month profitably. So yeah, let's get into it. First, when you're really scaling paid acquisition channels, the first thing to really find is those product channel fits, kind of like product market fit. Product channel fit is that channel that's not optimum to your product. So for us, we make semi-permanent tattoos. They last 2 weeks. They're a very visual product. Our audience skews a bit younger. We allow younger people to make temporary bad decisions, we say. So you can imagine our best channels are very visual ones. So Instagram works very well for us for paid acquisition. Facebook does well also. But we treat our ad channels and our ad sets like an investment portfolio. Really diversifying it increases their efficiency at any sort of scale. So though we really advertise on 2 primary channels, Facebook and Instagram, we also have 5 that we kind of rely upon to kind of back that up. So if those 2 aren't performing at any sort of scale, they're not performing at scale for a given week or something in certain ad campaigns, we'll bump spend in the other 3 to really compensate. Now those 3 don't have the fit that those other 2 do, so they don't scale as well, but to make up the difference, they really help. And the same concept applies to our ad sets. So we run over 100 different ad sets at any given time. There's a lot going on. We layer in third-party tools to really help us kind of automate those campaigns at scale. And again, when some are performing, we'll always be shifting budgets around between those 100 different ad sets on a daily basis to really increase our chances of driving the most optimum price traffic for us. And for us, it's really about where we can connect with our audience on a human level. So audiences now, in particularly our audience, they don't really like being advertised to in any traditional sense. You're going to Instagram, for example, to expect a certain type of content. You have an organic expectation of that channel. Seeing friends' posts, seeing people going on vacation, getting jealous of someone eating ice cream or something like that. And we make content that really fits that theme. So we make content that fits their expectations of that channel so it feels natural. So you don't really have to overinvest on the production quality. It has to be passable. But you really have to overinvest on the story in our experience. Think of that Dollar Shave Club commercial that really blew the brand up. I mean, it was well produced, but it wasn't extremely well produced. It was just good enough and it was funny, and that really drove insane growth for them. If it looks like a car commercial, you're probably doing it wrong. And when you're going to Instagram, for example, you're going to Facebook, you're expecting to see content all the time. New content. You're seeing thousands of pieces of content on a daily basis. Ad platforms like Facebook, Instagram, they're aware of this. They know you want to see new content, so they punish content that they deem stale. So when you're at a smaller scale and you're running $2,000 a month in ad sets, you're not going to really run into this problem. But when you're running $200,000, $300,000 a month in ad spend, you're going to really start bumping up against stale content. And by stale, I mean they'll actually punish your relevancy scores in the ad marketplace. And once your relevancy scores drop, your CPMs rise, and boom, you're not driving cost-efficient traffic anymore. So at Inkbox, we have an in-house production team that produces content on a weekly basis. Probably 3 or 4 pieces of content on a weekly basis to really keep the content fresh to achieve optimum CPMs at any sort of scale. And just like you need to consistently create fresh content, you consistently need to change your tactics up. You can't just set an ad campaign and leave it. There are way too many variables involved, and they're constantly evolving. For example, your product changes, your messaging changes alongside it, the audience shifts. There's an infinite variety of ways you can target an audience. So you can splice in any certain way. And the channels themselves evolve. Facebook's always releasing new types of ad sets you can leverage. And then there's a bunch of third-party tools that you can layer on top of these programs, these channels, or you can kind of fit in alongside adjacently. And then they go stale too. So tactics can really go stale over time as well. So you have to keep evolving them. So in our experience, iterating on our tactics in sync with all these evolving variables really helps us drive the most cost-effective traffic at any sort of scale. We like to say that we operate in permanent beta, but we sell temporary tattoos. And when we are approached with a new challenge or a new change in the marketplace or ecosystem, this mindset of operating in permanent beta with the understanding that we've never quite figured it out really helps us adapt as quickly as possible to drive the most efficient traffic. Thanks. Oh, and yeah, follow us on Instagram, because that's like our main channel. So.
Questions?
Hello? To your right.
Is someone giving me a promotion? Is this happening?
Yeah, I have a question up front row. Yeah, right here. Do you currently have a tattoo we can see on you now?
I actually don't. I'm going away, so I'm actually putting a bunch on tomorrow for my trip. So.
I have a question here. I actually just started following you on Instagram just last week, and I wanted to know from your experience, have you found Instagram more cost-effective than Facebook, and why?
Not necessarily. It really varies based on the type of traffic we're driving. Our site, though, it's mobilely optimized. It's not mobile first right now. Actually, we're completely rejigging everything, turning ourselves into a marketplace ecosystem with mobile first as the focus. So we expect it to really be more effective for us than Facebook when we have that mobile optimization. But right now, it's almost on par, maybe even a little bit worse than Facebook, but very close. People don't expect to shop as much on Instagram still, and especially on mobile devices. What we've seen is people, like Snapchat just released an ad platform last month. And we're on that, and though the CPMs are extremely cheap, by far the cheapest we've ever seen, the conversion values are much lower, just because it's younger traffic that's not really used to buying on a mobile device. Yeah. There's tons.
After him.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
Hey. So I'm just wondering if you guys use any free channels and how they compare in terms of conversion with your paid.
Free channels, I mean, yes, but they don't scale as much. I mean, a good example is our SEO, and paid on Google for search terms. It doesn't really scale for us because the inventory is not there. So there's only so many people searching for temporary tattoos. We've blown way past that now, and so we're creating something new in our opinion. So we have to really almost bash people over the head or connect with them at that personal level without them really expecting it. So free channels, though they're pretty good at like a lower scale, when you hit that upper scale, they haven't really functioned for us. One interesting thing actually is discount sites. There's a bunch of discount sites, and we noticed some traffic coming from them, and their conversion rates were way higher. Like 20% of the people I visited from a discount site would convert because they'd have like a 15% discount. So we started actually plugging our discount codes that we created ourselves on these sites, and we drive probably like $20,000 a month off these sites. So it helps, but yeah.
Thanks.
One last question.
Hi, you mentioned about efficiencies and scale. So in terms of the frequent, I would say users or customers versus a larger pool, which customers or which groups will you be more focusing on in terms of the efficiency and scale?
Sorry, can you rephrase the question? So
basically, are you targeting more of the like frequent customers? Or like the bigger pool of larger group of customers?
About 90% of our ad spend would be net new customers, and then 10% would be getting returning people to come back. The focus is really locking people into our channels and not focusing our paid digital so much on the returning customers, but getting them in their funnels on Facebook, on following us on Instagram, getting their email address so we can target them with emails. Yeah.